I was hooked, and there was nobody who was going to talk me out of it. And I was just in love. It's PaulYall, and I wanted to discuss today a time in my life that I am not proud of at all. As a matter of fact, it's something that I kind of keep hidden from people that I've met or have known for a while because, frankly, I'm ashamed of it. I realized a little too late, in my opinion, the error of my ways. I made all the appropriate changes, but it doesn't mean that I still don't have to live sometimes. And I wanted to kind of just share that with you guys out there and maybe hopefully help other folks not make the same decisions, same mistakes that I made. And that's kind of why I'm here. So that being said, I'm talking about the time of my life when I was a unconsolable, rabid, die on the hill fanboy. So sorry, I know I led y'all in a weird direction there. But yeah, so seriously though, I was a fanboy growing up, and so I broke the habit of being a fanboy, and I kind of wanted to explain how and like what I did, what snapped in my brain to make me realize that, hey, why am I doing this? Why am I this way? And before I got there though, I wanted to kind of step y'all through maybe your own thought process of the things that you could probably be doing to stop being a fanboy. Now, initially, I wanted this video to kind of be like, I'm going to come down on the fanboys kind of a thing. Like, I'm going to tell you why you're dumb and blah, blah, blah. I decided to go a different route because you know what? I used to be a fanboy, and I am no better than anybody else out there. So, what I wanted to start with is question number one. Everybody out there, why? Why are you a fan of product? Whatever it is, whether it be Sony, Microsoft, or Apple, or Android, or Marvel, or DC. Why are you a fan of this? What is it that makes this, you have such a connection, such an emotional bond with whatever this is that you just can't let it go, and it's so strong a bond that you refuse to partake in anything else? For me, Sega Genesis. Growing up, I came from a Commodore 64 to a Sega Genesis. I got there because I went to a friend's house and I played it for the first time. I had never seen one or played one or anything like that. I had some video game magazines and I saw pictures and whatnot. But when I went over to my friend's house and we played Altered Beast and Golden Axe and Last Battle, I was hooked, and there was nobody who was going to talk me out of it. So Santa brought me, my Sega Genesis with my, couple of games on it, and I was just in love. And there was no amount of coercing you could do to get me to swap to like a Nintendo or play a Nintendo. I didn't have one growing up. I didn't want a Nintendo. I had nothing to do with Nintendo. And so I'd go over to a friend's house and they'd have a Super Nintendo. Maybe they want to play Madden or something. I just like, whatever, fine. And we're playing the game. Like, look at these characters. Look, they look terrible, even though they did look better. This game is so slow. Like, how do you even play this? Ugh. Even the Genesis version, it's at least fast. Ugh, what is this garbage? Like, it's literally just trashing just for no reason, just to do it. And I didn't want to hear nothing about knowing a Super Nintendo game. I don't care how good it was. It's trash, garbage. Give me something on Genesis, doggone it. And when I got into computers and IT, I grew up on Microsoft. Dad taught me DOS, etc. So I was like, I'm all in on Microsoft. Let's do it. Let's be Microsoft fanboy. I don't need no Apple products or Linux. It's all, who cares about that? Any Windows, I'm not interested, right? And then Marvel, DC. Literally the difference between Marvel and DC for me was that DC would span their series across different books, right? So you'd read Superman, number 24, and it said, well, to continue this story, go read Man of Steel number 384, and you have to go get Man of Steel number 384, and at the end of that one it says, to finish this story, you need to go get Justice League number 1020. And I'm just like, why can't you just have it contiguous? I mean, Marvel does that, and that's literally the reason. It's just because their stories were in line. That's it. And then so at that point I was like, well, it's too much work to be a DC fan, so I'm just gonna read Marvel books. And so I did. I just read Marvel, and I grew to love those characters, and I just didn't care anything about DC, and just like, whatever, DC, and I was that. And it wasn't until much later that I kind of realized something happened. So I was working at GameStop. I was store manager, and I put my life into that store. 60 plus hours a week, going in there, and I rearranged things. I put things, I was all this work, just blood, sweat, and tears into that store. And then my district manager comes in and says, "Nah, we gotta change all this. This is not the way GameStop Co. wants it. Everything you've done, all this work you've done, it just has to be undone and done the way they want it." And that was a paradigm changing moment for me, because I realized at that point, I'm not an individual at all in this company. I am a number on a paycheck. Now, this is not to besmirch GameStop in this video, maybe in the future, but this is largely true of a lot of corporate America, corporate companies. I mean, I'm not telling anybody, anything y'all don't know, but I'm not an individual. I'm a number on a paycheck. And that started to kind of key in to a lot of other areas of my life. I started thinking about, wait a minute. Well, if GameStop's like that, I wonder if other companies are like that too, And working there kind of got me jaded to the whole PS2 versus Xbox thing and everything. And I started realizing that, these companies aren't my friend. Like, nobody at Microsoft cares that we'll only play Xbox games. Nobody at Sony cares if I only play Sony titles. Like, they don't care. They care enough to get the money out of my wallet. After that, that's where their interest stops and starts. Once the money is gone, well, see you later. They have no more interest in me. And that's pretty much everything that you're a fanboy of. Marvel, DC, Apple, Microsoft, name it. They don't really care. They love that you're a fanboy. They're happy to have you, or fanboy or fangirl. They're happy to have you. But you know what? As soon as the money runs out of your bank account, they are done with you. Absolutely done with you. Because you have no more value to them than what's in your bank account. Period. And so that's a question you should ask yourself, is like, or just kind of, maybe that's, I don't know, it was a paradigm changing moment for me. Maybe something that you haven't realized yet is that these companies, they don't give a crap about you. That's numero uno. You got to realize that they do not care. Whatever company it is, they don't care. They're going to tell you they care. They don't really care. They're going to care as long as you got money. When you don't have any money, you're useless to them. Absolutely useless. It's worshiping something that has zero interest in you, period. And there's absolutely no reason for you to continue doing that at all. That should be kind of like rule number one. Don't put any time and investment into something or someone who does not care about you. It's never going to end well for you. Another question, I can't remember if I covered this or not, is ask yourself why you're such a fan. I think I did. But you have an emotional connection. There's an emotional connection inside this fanatical boyness or girlness that you have. What is that emotional connection? What is it? What is it that this company did or said, or what? And then ask yourself, well, is it really that important? Is it really that important? Like, does it change my life if I didn't have this in it? I'm going to say it probably doesn't. But ask yourself, what is it? What's the emotional connection that I have here that is making me such a fanatic for whatever product it is that I'm such a fan of, and I refuse to listen or anything to anybody else? Like, ask yourself that question. And then, also realize and understand that by locking yourself into one brand or one type of thing or one um, you know, type of operating system, you're really missing out on the other things that that make these companies great, right? So like an example would be, I was a big Microsoft fan, right? Worked in IT, pretty much 100% Microsoft, didn't really have any interest in anything else. When I moved jobs, changed jobs, I went to a mixed environment. They had Linux, they had Mac OS, and they had Windows, and those are servers, and workstations. And once I started working on Macs and working on Mac OS and started looking into Linux, utilizing the command line, and realizing, wow, this is actually really cool. And I've been missing out on this a lot. This is like, I understand now why someone would like OS X. I get it. I think it's a great operating system. I'm not here to talk about, its pros and cons, but I understood. I had perspective. I think that might be something that a lot of fanboys and fangirls out there are missing. And I think it's also on purpose. For some of you, it's on purpose because you're purposefully, whatever it is good, but you're purposefully going out of your way to not experience it for the fear that maybe you will like it. And if you like it, then all of a sudden your pride is hurt because you were wrong, right? And you don't want to be wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. And here's the thing. Who cares? Who cares if you're wrong? Everybody's wrong. Everybody is wrong at some point in their life. Nobody's ever 100% right ever. Who cares if you're wrong? You can change your mind. You're allowed to. Get off your high horse, get over yourself, and just experience some of the things. Marvel versus DC, okay? So first DC comic, some of the first DC comics I ever read were Superman, right? Death of Superman trade paperback came out. I bought it. I read it. I loved it. It was great. Didn't really pick anything up after that. A friend of mine handed me a trade paperback of Batman Hush. I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll read it. Not expecting much. Amazing. Loved it. From that point on, I started looking into a little bit more DC. Found they had some great storylines. Found they have some great characters. And I realized that, man, I've been missing out on quite a bit. Super Nintendo. Found out, once I finally got one, I was like, man, look at all these great games. I started playing through all of them. Like, man, this is amazing. I've missed out on this a lot. And there's no reason for me to be so hardcore staunchly in one lane or one system because I missed out. I robbed myself of the opportunity to experience these things. Now I enjoyed them later on. That's true. But at the time, I was so, caught up in, I guess, my emotional attachment to, again, this entity which did not care about me in any way, shape, or form, that I missed out. And there's something sad about that. I can't really get that time back. I mean, I go back, I read the comics, I play the games, and but still, I feel like I missed out. Not a regret. It's just a comment, I suppose. And I think, finally, realize that it's okay to like something else. Again, it boils down to like a pride issue, right? So if you're just staunchly against something for some reason, why? You ask yourself why. Why are you so hardcore for something or against something in another way? Like, for example, me, Michael Bay movies. I refuse to watch another Michael Bay movie for the rest of my life. I can have it. Because one, he ruined my beloved Transformers. And two, in that second movie, Transformers movie, which I did watch in the theater, those two characters, Mudflap and Skidmark, or whatever the names were, so overtly just racist. I just couldn't even deal with it. I was like, you know what? I'm never watching another one of those movies again. He tried to say, well, this isn't about Michael Bay. All right, sorry. Listen, but to me, that's a valid reason. I'm not an anti fanboy or whatever for Michael Bay. I still go to the movies, but it's just someone who I'm not going to support. I choose not to support him because of what he's done, essentially, and refuses to admit it. So that's a good reason. Not a good reason to say, well, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna read these comics because the characters are overpowered, or I'm not gonna, use this operating system because they overcharge people. It's too expensive, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just not a good reason. It's not a good reason to hate something like that. To hate on something. So I challenge you out there to question yourselves, question your motives, find out what the real reason is that you're being so staunchly against or for whatever it is that you're against or for, and put it in the comments. Go ahead, put it in the comments. I want to hear it. I want to react to it. I want to know what it is that drives you so hard to be a fanboy or a fangirl. Let me know. I want to hear it. And maybe we'll start a conversation. Anyway, hey, I think that's it. Again, no real reason to be a fanboy or fangirl. You're robbing yourself. You're playing into the hands of the people millionaires who run the business, and you're getting nothing out of it. You're giving them everything. You're getting nothing in it. Literally. So just think about that. Anyway, that's it. Like, subscribe, check out my Twitch. Leave a comment again about your passions. I want to hear them, and all you need.